Gonna build a mountain from a little hill.
Hey guys, and thank you so much for tuning into my channel. My name is The Lady Designer, and today we are back with another speed build video of Pond Zoo. And in this episode, we are going to create an indoor habitat for the California sea lion. Now, as you can tell already from the video thumbnail and the title of this video, this is not just a normal indoor habitat. This is more of like a show area, which is going to be only the indoor area for the sea lions. Now, I am personally not a huge fan of any animal shows in zoos or aquariums, but this one I can live with. This area, as some Dutch people may already have guessed, is very much inspired of the show area they have in Ouwehands Dierenpark in the Netherlands. And the last time I have been there was like a few years ago, and I did go and visit the show area. And the nice thing about this show was that it was very educational and no animals were forced to do anything. Like, if I remember correctly, there were like 2 out of 4 or 5 sea lions at this point that really didn't want to do anything. So the keepers also mentioned this, like, hey, if they don't want to do anything today, that is completely fine. So yeah, I actually really like that of the whole educational show, I guess. Just a bunch of sea lions just not doing what is basically expected from them. So yeah, I did really like that. Like, they didn't do like too many tricks or like things you would really not see them do in the wild. So it all felt really natural, to be honest. So yeah, I'm pretty okay with making this show area for our pond zoo for the sea lions. So this is going to be the first time we are building a habitat with these new seating areas. Like, I say new, but we already have them for quite some time now, but I just never used them. But wait, actually, I did use them in the sea lion habitat in City Zoo, now that I think of it. But this is more like a seating area in front of like a big underwater viewing gallery. So surely this area we are building is a lot different and more looks like an animal show area, I guess. Which definitely is not the case in our City Zoo habitat, to be honest. Now you may wonder, why is she creating a building inside of a building? Well, the dome actually is humongous. So I really like to fill it up a little bit more with like this bigger area. And even now we have like this big building inside of this dome, we still have plenty of space that had some other animals in here as well. So really don't worry about that. Now, what I like about this building being inside of this dome is the experience, I guess. Like, it's probably something people don't really expect to find here the first time they are visiting this zoo, and if they're not peeking on the map, obviously. And from the outside of the rest of the dome, like, you will barely even know it's there because it will be nicely covered with rocks on the outside in a later stage. So I think it's going to be very nicely integrated inside of this dome building. So when I wanted to plan this pool for the sea lions inside of this dome, I had to make sure, first of all, that I had all the measurements right, also for the seating area. So I did do this before I started recording. So I did use like these wooden walls as like a reference point, and also to make sure I am able to grab the grid from these paths to make it a lot easier for myself, I guess. And I also used like the height of these walls to make sure that the water would not be too deep or too shallow around it. So first I made sure to have like this raised path on the grid so I know where the path should be. And after that I dug out all the terrain and made sure that to add like the glass around the path as close as possible, of course, to the edge of the path. And the idea was like to have these tunnels under the stage which would come from the outdoor habitat we are going to build in a later stage. But along the way, when building and adding the sea lions, I realized their traverse area is so hard. So they will never probably be able to go through these openings I've made. Probably only the baby sea lions will in the future, but yeah, it is quite disappointing, to be honest. But I will leave the openings there for the idea, I guess. But yeah, it's really a pity that the sea lions are not able to use these openings underneath the stage to go from the outside to the inside and vice versa. So once I filled the area with water, I lowered the path to the terrain level and put down all the seating areas around the path. It's really nice that these seating areas can float a little bit, so you don't need to worry about the terrain per se being like connected underneath them or anything like that. Like they really snap nicely to your path, so that is really nice. But they are still a little bit wonky sometimes to place down, but I did manage to put them down where I want them to be, and they are all nicely connected to each other. So yeah, I'm really happy how easy it was if you prepare it in advance to put down these seating areas in the end. So the walls around the water and underneath the water will all be painted blue. I think that definitely gives more of that blue pool vibe in the end. And after that, I use like a lot of the plaster pieces to connect like these walls nicely to the path and cover the whole and the curbs with like what is in between the path and the pool basically. So it all looks nicely connected to each other, and there are no like weird wonky holes in between the path and the water, if that makes any sense. And we also add like this water gutter. I'm not really sure if that is the name for it, like to the edge of the pool for more realism. Like you see that in every pool that you visit, like these little holes for the water to go in. I don't know if it's a gutter. Correct me if I'm wrong and let me know in the comments down below. It's just the first word that comes up in my mind if thinking about that it is a gutter, but tell me if I'm wrong. So once this edge looked nice and neat, I added like these fence pillars with like a 2-meter long rope between them. So this is obviously inspired as well of the real life building, and for the game this actually works pretty nice to make sure that the sea lions stay inside of this pool area. So yeah, I do really like how that is looking. And after that, it was obviously time to work on that pointy roof. Like I really want to make sure that the ceiling was lowered a lot to get more of like this cozy and wooden vibe on the inside. And I basically only used like the unpainted Asia wood for like the pillars and the planks to create like the roof and the beams as well. And having this roof is also later very useful when we are going to hang like the spotlights on the ceiling. So yeah, I think that it's definitely the best thing to do if you want to do some lighting, even though we did like a lot of lighting on the ceiling of the dome itself as well. I think for this building, just like the realistic building, they have like the same pointy roof with like these beams and stuff, so I think it totally makes sense to use that as well for this build. So when the roof was almost done, I started working on the stage area, to simply call it that way. Like this again is also a lot inspired of the real life zoo. I did use like a lot of pictures from the real life zoo. So I'm pretty sure that all you Dutch people are like, oh my god, I know exactly this, this building. And like it's not a one-on-one, but it's heavily inspired on it. So you will see me placing down some doors in a later stage, like on the back side of the wall, which are basically in real life also used by the keepers and the animals for the show. And there are like these windows with holes and stuff for the sea lions to put their head through or something like that. Now, obviously in the game, that doesn't work like that, and we don't really have these type of windows. So I kept it just simple with some simple doors only for decorational purpose, I guess. And on the left side of the stage, I will integrate like this metal door in like the aquatic rocks. This probably is like some kind of emergency door or something like that. And this also is only for decorations, like it's not working, of course. And I don't know why, like I really like this idea, and I think that Rudy, or even I think it was Rudy that did that in Koali Zoo with like the aquatic tunnel, and I don't know, I just absolutely love that idea, even though I think over there it is actually a functioning door, but for here, I don't know, I just really like to integrate like this doorway inside of these rocks, and I don't know, it just makes sense for some reason, but that was not in the real life picture, to be honest. And for the concrete that you are seeing on both sides basically of the pointy roof, I obviously used the new decals. Like I first started with like a lot of them, but it just didn't really give me the right natural feeling, so I did reduce the amount of decals that I used for this concrete. But yeah, I think it still looks very nice, and it really gives like this older feeling and older vibe to the concrete, which I absolutely love still. And on the other side of the water, we will be adding these jetty beddings, I think they're called. And for some more enrichment, I also added like this little water stream thingy for the sea lions to play with. And these jetty beddings are definitely very nice also at the moment for like these sea lions to use, because they don't really have like this outdoor habitat yet. And I also did add like that wooden thing with like the hole in the middle. Like Frontier did add like these arrows on the sides which turn green or red if the sea lions will be able to use the enrichment item or not. I do really like that they added it, but it does make me wonder, like, the person that added these lines, was there no one to think like, you know what? Using this enrichment item needs so much space. Maybe we should try and reduce it, because honestly, the fact that this enrichment item needs so much space is the reason why I barely use it. Like, I do find it a very fitting thing for in this indoor area, but they can't use it. And I don't really understand why, like, how big of an area you need to make for the animals to be able to use it. Like, I don't know. I think it's definitely a missed opportunity for Frontier to fix, in my opinion, really fix that enrichment item, because I think barely anyone is using it because of the amount of space the animals need to actually use it, to actually make it function. So I don't know, I'm a little bit disappointed in that enrichment item, and I really do hope, Frontier, if you're watching, if you're listening, please do something about the traversable area in general of many animals, but also for these enrichment items, so we can actually use them. And someone at your developers team did not create this enrichment item for no one to use, you know? Like, it would be nice if anyone would use it, but yeah. It's just a side note, I guess. So yeah, we do have it, but I do realize, like, if you see the cinematic shot in the end of this video, that their swimming is not looking super natural, and that is also because of that enrichment item also ruining a little bit of their traversable area. So I might be removing that one if we're going to work on the outdoor area, to be completely honest. So as I said, like, the whole building will basically be covered by rocks in the later stage. You already get like that feeling with the backside of the seating areas, well, because there we are adding like a lot of the aquatic rocks as a background wall, basically. So maybe we could look at this show area more as like a hidden blue lagoon or something. As you can also tell from the footage, we are calling this a blue lagoon, which is also from the real life picture. But I think this definitely fits the idea of like a hidden blue lagoon, and this whole building will later be covered and hidden away in between a lot of rocks and stuff. I think once it is all finished, it will totally make sense what I am saying to you right now. I promise. So the last thing I did was hanging down the lights on the ceiling and make sure they are all lighting up the right areas, and also add like these ropes in the middle of the pool with like a ball hanging down from the ceiling. Like, both of these things are also heavily inspired of the real life zoo habitat, to be honest, and it definitely adds that last finishing touch to the habitat, in my opinion, and to this whole show area, I guess. So yeah, I'm really happy with how that is looking. Now, as you can tell from the video, I did not decorate like the entrance of this area yet, and also didn't do much yet on the backstage area. And of course, we will also need the connection to the outdoor habitat. We will do this in the next sea lion video of Ponte Zoo. Now, I'm not saying that that will be exactly the next Ponte Zoo episode. We might, but maybe I have a completely different idea that I want to work on. So maybe we will skip one episode to do one other animal and then go back to the sea lions. I'm not really sure about that just yet. Now, as I said earlier, we will be creating this connection to the outside with water, but since the traversable area of these sea lions will not let them go through this tunnel entrance from the pool, we will also need to add like this normal opening to the outdoor area. So yeah, it is a little bit of a pity because I really wanted to do it a little bit different. So because it also means that we need a pretty big opening to make sure that the sea lions are able to pass through there walking. But it is what it is, I guess. We are going to find a way to do that, I guess. And we're gonna make it work. And of course, then the outdoor area will obviously be very natural with a lot of rocks and sand, etc. And of course, we're also going to create an underwater viewing gallery. Now, I did not really find a zoo yet or like example pictures for inspiration yet. So if you have some really cool suggestions of some really cool outdoor sea lion habitat you know from real life zoos, and you think that is going to be a perfect fit for Ponte Zoo, and maybe also have like this really cool underwater viewing gallery inspiration picture that we could use, please do let me know in the comments down below like what zoo the sea lion habitat is based on, and I will try to look it up and see if we can use that as inspiration. That will be just super amazing. So yeah, I'm obviously very curious what you all think of this indoor sea lion show habitat. Please do let me know in the comments down below, of course, of this video, and leave a like at the video if you guys enjoyed, and subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. And yeah, I just really do hope to see you guys all in the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye guys!